Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody to our QuickBooks Point of Sale webinar. My name is JoAnne Evans. I'm a sales representative for Big Hairy Dog Information Systems, and we are a reseller of the QuickBooks Point of Sale, not only Point of Sale, but all QuickBooks products at this time, including the enterprise and all the financial packages. We will be getting started here in just a few moments, but taking a look at the QuickBooks Point of Sale. I'd like to point out that this is the new version. This version was just recently released, and it has some fantastic new features in it over and above some of the previous releases of QuickBooks Point of Sale. We're very excited about the options. We're talking about expanded e-commerce and expanded shipping integration, as well as contactless payments and emailing receipts to customers. So we'll take a look at some of the features today, and I'd like to encourage all of you who are attending to ask any questions you might have, whether it's through a chat or if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask a question. That would be lovely. I definitely would like to invite all of you to join me. So we're going to get started here with the point of sale. And what you're seeing here is the new version of QuickBooks Point of Sale. If you've worked with QuickBooks Point of Sale in the past, you'll notice that it's very similar to the older versions, which is a great thing, because if you've worked on older versions before, it's not going to be a complete relearning process to access the features of this new system. Just to point out too that QuickBooks Point of Sale is being used by over 900,000 merchants in the United States. It's one of the few desktop applications left out there, and as you can see, it's very simple from the front end as far as users are concerned, but again, very robust in the back end for reporting and tracking your business. A couple of things, information about Big Hairy Dog is we are, as I mentioned, a reseller of QuickBooks Point of Sale. We've actually been supporting retail customers now for over 27 years with their point of sale system. We feature a couple of systems, including QuickBooks Point of Sale. That would be Retail Pro and a new release called Savant. But one of the things that we found very lacking in the industry was training on the system. A lot of customers have come to us with the system, but had received no training from the purchaser that they received it from. So we found a big gap in the knowledge base for the system, and a lot of merchants not getting the best return on their investment. We specialize in training and support for all of the systems that we work with. We've been working with QuickBooks Point of Sale since the onset, since it was released. So all of our techs are certified in QuickBooks Point of Sale, and we also have techs that are specializing in the QuickBooks financial packages as well. So when you come on board with Big Hairy Dog, one of the things we'll do is we'll assign a dedicated trainer to you. And what I'd like to go through today is just some of the steps that they go through in getting you started with the system. In order to build the reports, we actually start with a couple of building blocks in the front end. Generally speaking, they'll start with our department list. So we'll take a look at that real quick. And basically, you can have as many departments as you'd like. But with because of the filtering of information, our techs recommend about 20 different departments. That makes sure that the information that gets to the reports is not completely watered down, but is concise enough for you to be able to pull up the information that you need. You can have inventory and non-inventory items in departments. You can have services within the department. So if you're doing a service as alterations or something like that, you can have a department set up specifically for that. We're going to take a look at, for right now, we'll look at our women's casual wear. And there's a couple of ways of setting up your department. And one would be, since it doesn't actually have a true subtitle or subcategory, you can create one by adding a colon and then following information. So in this case, I have casual wear, so I have my casual wear men, casual wear women. In this case is women. You could switch that around depending on how you want to set up your store and what makes most sense to you. And that's, again, something that you would work with your trainer to determine what's going to be the best flow for you. In the department setup, we have our tax code. So with the taxes, there's multiple options with taxes. In my case, my tax is set up with my local tax, my county tax, and my state tax. And that, again, is something that the trainers would help you to assist. There are some areas that have multiple taxes, and so that would be determined, again, at the setup time. You see here, under our margin and our markup, this information basically will come to play when we go to enter our items that we're going to be placing in this department. Depending on our margin and markup, if we have a specific markup, so let's say we have 100% markup, then the system will adjust the margin based on our markup, and vice versa. So if we have a 65% margin, then it will populate the markup for us. So that's the basics on our department. And you can see I have a large variety of different departments in my system, working with different customers on their specific needs. Even though there's so many businesses out there that are alike, there's really no two that are exactly the same. So that's why this can be personalized a little bit to what meets your needs as far as the flow of your business. One thing nice about the QuickBooks Point of Sale, if you're not familiar with it at all, is you can always return back to the home page, and with your click to the home button. And just to kind of go through the home page real quick, I overlooked that at the very beginning, but you can see it's laid out in very easy to follow sections. So we have our point of sale section here, we have our purchasing section here, our employee section here, and our operations section over here. Over on the left-hand side, we've got our action button, and then my favorite part, our sticky notes over on the right-hand side. So these can be notes that you leave for your staff, or in this case, we have our inventory reminders that's going to remind us about any price changes or any items that are below the reorder point or any new item. We can stylize this a little bit more if we like a little more stylized look, and we can also minimize this window so that it's not showing, so you have the full screen for your point of sale. So getting back to our building blocks for our reports, the next step in building up the blocks for the reports is our vendor list. And again, you can have pretty much as many vendors as you're going to be working with. You'll see over here in the details, this is all the information that is stored in each vendor file. You can see you have the contact information. Over here I have vendor notes that's best to order on this particular case on Tuesdays. And over here on the right-hand side, you can see the history. So that's everything that we've purchased or returned to this particular vendor. We have our vendor settings that show our account information and our terms. We also have 7 customizable fields that are built into QuickBooks Point of Sale that you can use depending on how you want to track your vendors. Again, this would be something that your trainer would assist you in setting up if you wanted to use any or all of them. The areas not in yellow over here in gray, those areas are all reportable. So you can pull up reports on all of this information. When you're adding a new vendor, then depending on the name of the vendor or who the vendor is, there are options that the system offers you. So as we type in sidewalk, we can see that there's it populates a lot of different options that we can select. If our vendor is not in there, then we can populate the information. But the information that'll be populated is their basic contact information, their address and phone numbers. We can add the specific information. And email address. And if we wanted to add the website in there, we can as well. We can also add the terms. And if there's a discount percentage for paying early, our account information, any alternate contact information, and of course, our vendor notes and our custom fields. We can assign a vendor code. It can be alpha or numeric. And now we have our basic information. We see we've not ordered anything, so we don't have anything in history on this client or this vendor, but as we go along, that information will be populated. So now we have the two foundations for our reporting. We've got our department list, our vendor list. Let's go ahead and take a look at our item list. Again, you can have pretty much as many items as you need for all variety. We'll go ahead and add an item. And let's call it women. And this is an inventory item, but as I mentioned, you can have a non-inventory or service items in your item list. You can also have assemblies and groups. And that's where you actually build a group of items in your store. Depending on how you're going to be selling it, it depends on whether it's an assembly or a group. Just to kind of break it down briefly, an assembly is all of the items that you select for the assembly, then the assembly itself becomes an item in your item list. Your group, it can actually be a collection of individual items. You could switch out items depending on what the customer was looking for, and those individual items are reduced from your inventory when you sell the group, where the assembly itself is reduced. So that just gives you a little bit of a difference between the assembly and the group. So in this case, our summer dress, we're going to call that an inventory item, and let's go ahead and select our casual wear women for that department. We could pull up a picture if we wanted to do that. Very simple. In here, we could put a description. We bounce over here to our vendor. Let's say order it from Blue. The order cost. So this all can be, depending on how you're ordering an item, this system does allow for multiple base units of measure. So if we're going to be selling this each, we could also purchase it by the dozen and sell it individually. And then our order cost and our pricing would be adjusted accordingly. We can set a reorder point for this. You saw the little blue sticky note at the beginning on the front page that refers back to your inventory reports. If you have items that are below the reorder point, then those items are going to show up on that report. Go ahead. We'll set 5 over here. You can also have an alternate lookup and a UPC code of the item that's from the vendor in the file. The system does create a unique barcode, and we usually suggest that you use that just to prevent someone from purchasing a similar item at another location and then bringing it to your store to return. Your alternate lookup and your UPC can be alphanumeric, and you can search for them. You can search for the alternate lookup in your item list at the register or in your item list. You can have, again, you've got your customizable fields here. Down here, I'd like to point out that we have the sync to mobile. So what that is, QuickBooks Point of Sale has a mobile app that you can download onto any mobile device. If you're using Intuit Merchant Services, you'd be able to sync this up with your point of sale. You could go on the road, say a trunk show or a sidewalk sale or a trade show, and you can, whatever you have synced right here is going to be sent over to that mobile app. Then from your remote location, you can sell your item and sync it back to your point of sale system, and it'll adjust your inventory and your sales based on what you sell on the road or offsite. So it's a great little feature. There is also the e-commerce section. Mine is not populated because I don't have mine connected to an e-commerce website. But if you did, then this item then would show in the inventory for your e-commerce site. We are currently working, our business partner, WebGility, handles all of our connection between websites and the point of sale so that you have a direct adjustment between the website and the point of sale. So you can see pretty much on a minute-by-minute basis what's selling on there and how it's adjusting in your point of sale. If we look over here, we have our miscellaneous and shipping. So with this item, we can indicate if we want to print tags or not. If we're if we need to track a serial number, that can be indicated, that can be tracked in the system. If your employees are earning commission, and if your customers are earning rewards. And we'll get to that in a little bit, but there is a built-in customer loyalty program right within the point of sale at no additional charge. We'll look here at shipping weight, shipping information. This new system does integrate with with UPS, with FedEx, and with the U.S. Post Office. So you can actually create shipping labels right from the system if you're shipping items from the store or from the website. Now we have our basic information on here. We'll go ahead and just put our order cost in here and say this dress is $17. And we'll see that the system will populate a suggested price based on the margin and the markup that we set up in our casual wear department. We can change this price at this point if we wanted to do that and round it off, for example, or we could leave it as it was. On style and attribute, so size and attribute, so this system also has a built-in matrix. So now that we have our basic information in here for this item, let's go ahead and take a look at the matrix. And so this gives us an option to either use a template that we have purchased or set up in the past, or set up a new one. And for demonstration purposes, we'll go ahead and set up a new one. And let's say we're going to carry this dress in small. We want to change that. Medium. And large. And we're going to carry it in yellow. Yes. And blue. And pink. And so we're going to carry this item even though we don't have any in hand right now. We'll go ahead and indicate to the system that yes, we want this item added to our inventory even though we don't have any in stock at this point. So if we go ahead and save this, go back to our item list, and you can see we have our women's summer dress, and we have it in small, medium, and large, in yellow, blue, and pink. But currently we don't have any quantity on hand or any available quantity. We also have it indicated that we have, this is a mobile item. We could track it to see if we have it in our online store or e-commerce. And if we wanted to also, we could modify this list here and show that if we have a picture assigned to it. And if we wanted to remove one of the columns, we could do so. Let's see. Just by the click of a button, we can move columns. And we can make columns bigger or smaller. So you have a lot of versatility of how you want to see your item list within the system. So now that we have our items in our system, there's a couple of different ways we can actually add the quantities. One of the methods that we actually suggest is through the purchase order process. And I know that a lot of our customers now are purchasing from vendors online directly, and they don't need to follow up with any physical collateral. But we find that because you can actually track this within the system, that using the purchase order system, you can go back to your purchase orders, see what you've purchased. If you have multiple people making purchases, then you can avoid duplicate purchases by using the point of sale purchase order option. So it's very simple. All we need to do within our item list is actually just highlight the items, indicate that we want to order these items, and this creates a purchase order for us. We can pull up our vendor, and it'll populate our terms down here. We can have instructions if we want to if we're sending this to the vendor, or instructions for someone processing the purchase order. Up here on the upper left-hand corner, we have our basic information, our order date, our ship date, and our cancel date. So we can set a cancel date if this is an item that we want to purchase and have in stock for a special event or a holiday. That way you can cancel the order if it doesn't come in on that date. You can, if you're working in a multiple store situation, you can have it shipped to a remote store You do need to, all of the purchase orders are created by the headquarters stores, but they can be shipped to any of their remote locations. If you're tracking your associates, you can do so within the purchase order as well. So we had set this item. Now we go into the amounts that we're going to order, and we had set a reorder point for this as 5. So let's go ahead and order 10 of each item, and we can do that manually, or we can do it with the toggle. And now we've got our total down here in the lower right-hand corner. And we have our vendor, we have our items. We're ready to go ahead and send this over or save it. You can actually email it directly to the vendor if you have their email on file. And this system does integrate with your Outlook account. So for now, we'll just go ahead and save this. And so if we go back to our home page, down here in our purchasing section, we notice that we have a purchase order that is open. So if we click on that and go to our purchase orders, we see the purchase order that we just created. We can let the system know that we would like to receive these items. We're going to select all for now. And now our purchase order automatically becomes a receiving voucher. So we don't have to create another form. It's just a very, very simple process. So here you can see that the numbers that we ordered 10 of each one in each size and each color. And we can inventory this from our receiving voucher to make sure that we received everything that we ordered. If we received fewer or less items than we ordered, we can indicate that again with the quantity toggle, or we can do it manually and say we only received 8 of this particular item. Then this purchase order is going to stay open until we either receive those items or until we close the purchase order. So now we have inventoried everything. We're satisfied with what we received. We've got our vendor information down here in the lower left-hand corner. So now that we have the items here, we can go ahead right from the receiving voucher and print our tags for this item. And we'll preview just to give you an idea of what the tags could look like. And again, some of this information can change depending on what you'd like to see on your tags. I have it set up with the name of the company. That is my department code. I have my vendor code. I have the item's name, a description. If you want to add the UPC code to your tag, you can do so as well. We have the size, color, of course, the price, and then the barcode for this item. So now, once we tag these items, our customers can bring them up to the register. Our sales associates can scan it, and we can move forward with the sale. So we'll go ahead and save this item. And now we go back to our home page. So now that we've set up our department list, our vendor list, and we've created items and received items, let's go in to see how simple it is to make a sale. We like to brag about it being a 7-second sale. However, I talk too much, so it goes a little bit longer. But all you need to do is click on Make a Sale. You have a couple of options over here on the left hand with your action button. I mentioned the customer loyalty package that's built into the QuickBooks Point of Sale. So you can pull up your customers right from your receipt, and you can search by name or phone number if you're tracking phone numbers. Let's go ahead and pull up Karen. And you can see up here at the top of the receipt, we have Karen's name, her email address, her account balance. So she has available credit with us. She doesn't have anything on account. And her history. So it's going to show the last receipt that she purchased from us. Any notes, we can hover over the notes, and it's going to show any notes that we have in her file. And also, over here, if we look at her name, we see that Karen is a rewards member. She currently has no rewards available to redeem, but she only has $95.46 until her next reward is earned. If your sales associates have to go in and make any changes to her contact information, her phone number, it's very simple to do. We can go in and edit our customer's file here. If we want to track this customer as a company, we can indicate that. Of course, we can indicate their title. You can populate the phone number here, mobile phone if you're tracking that. We have her email address, and she's indicated that it's okay to email her. We have our customer notes in here, and then here's the history. Everything that Karen has purchased or returned is going to be here in her history. We also assign a customer number, ID number. You can actually create customer cards with a barcode on it that could be scanned to pull up her information. We also have, you can set up different customer types. For in this case, we have Karen indicated as a member, but we could indicate, and these are ones that I've set up, but depending on, of course, your business, this would be something your trainer, again, would help you set up depending on how you wanted to track your customer types. If you have VIPs, your employees, for example, if your employees get a discount, you can indicate that on a one-on-one basis, or you can indicate that in the system that all employees get a specific discount. Create that right within the system here. A lot of businesses are now giving veterans across the board discounts, so you could do that for your veterans as well. If you have VIP members, if you have a special pricing for VIP members, you can have that in her system as well. We'll go ahead and just put her back as a member. Yeah. Now over here in our custom fields, we've indicated that we want to track our customers' birthdays. If they're purchasing items that have serial number, you can have that populated in here as well. Again, the information that you see in the white areas and gray areas, that information is reportable. So if you need to track this or pull up, for example, a birthday list of your customers because you want to send them a coupon for their birthday, you can do that with pulling up a report. You can add their shipping information in here if you're going to be shipping to this customer. And then there's statistics. So this is the rating of this particular customer. You can see she's a two-star customer. And it will show her total sales, her average receipt, her total discount, and any orders, special orders, or sales orders that she might have placed with us. Go ahead and save that. So now you can see up here on the contact information, it populates her phone number as well. So your sales staff can double check with your customers to make sure that all the information is correct. So now we have our customer here. There's a couple of options as far as pulling up items. Of course, we had the barcodes on the items. So if the items are coded, then your sales associate just scans them and it populates the information. You can also do a drop down. You can search by name. So there's our women's summer dresses that we just now ordered, so we can go ahead and sell one of those to a customer. You can add items by looking for the alternate lookup number. You see this item right here has an alternate lookup, so if we search for 114, it's going to pull up that item. So there's different ways to do it. Obviously, the most efficient way is to tag your items and then have your sales associate scan. There is also an option within within the sales receipt called our quick pick group. So these can be items that are either too big to bring up to the register. They might be services that you offer that the customer doesn't bring up to the counter. It could be in the case of I work with a lot of museums at this point, and they sell their missions, their tickets at their point of sale. So that could be here. Any items that are too small to tag that you might carry, like small stones or small keychains or something like that, you could have set up in a quick pick group. Over here in my services, so I have a couple of different services, designs, or it could be design or alterations, and you could just click on that and those items would be populated into the sales receipt. So now we have our friend Karen. She's decided on her purchases. We're doing a little bit of design work for her. Now she has a total of $157.41. So we could, depending on, and of course some of this depends on the security and the access that you give your sales associates, depending on how much access you want, how if you want them to be able to give discounts or not discounts. Again, that would be something that that your trainer would set up. And we'll take a look at the permissions list in just a moment. It's literally 4 pages of a different criteria as far as setting up security for your different areas within the point of sale. So right now you can see that if we wanted to give a discount on this single item, we could do it right within the item, and we could do it a dollar amount, or we could do it a percentage amount. If we wanted to give a discount on the entire order, we can, through our action buttons, again, we can do a percentage or a dollar amount. You can also schedule discounts. So if you're planning to have a big sale later in September, you could go in and you could schedule that day if you're giving 10% off in the whole store, or you're doing it by department, or you're doing it by individual item. You can actually set up a pre-scheduled discount day for your sales so that it's all done ahead of time. You don't have to go in and change anything on the day of the sale because the system would automatically do that for you. And then at the end of that day, then it reverts back to the regular pricing. With the Intuit Merchant Services that I mentioned before, that was the option with the mobile app. You also have the option of integrated debit cards. So if you're going to be selling gift cards, if you're going to be selling gift cards, then you can integrate that with the Merchant Services account. In this case, Karen's going to pay cash and credit. So she's going to start off with, say she's going to pay $25 cash. And she'd like to split the balance of the payments here between her Visa and her MasterCard. So she'll pay $50 with her Visa card. And then the balance she's going to pay with her MasterCard. So you can have multiple options as far as payments are concerned. So if you notice down here in the bottom buttons here, it has a save and email. You can actually email this directly to Karen, since she does have an email address on file. Without having to print. I know that many states are requesting merchants go paperless, and so this system has that option built into it. You can also do our printing receipts. We can take a look. It's an example this is an example of a receipt. Of course, you have your specific information up here, your store and logo. If you're tracking your cashiers, that it would be populated here. You have the bulk of the body of your receipt of the items that the customer purchased, your tax levels, and your tender. So she paid $25 cash, $50 with her Visa, and the balance she paid with her MasterCard. You see that she is on the receipt. We've indicated that she is a rewards customer, and she has earned $10 off her next purchase. We have the reward set up so that it matches the return policy. So if she returns the item within the next 30 days, then she will not be able to take advantage of this particular reward. You can have your little message here. You can also have a coupon if you wanted to populate a coupon on your receipt. Again, that would be something that you would work with your trainer on to determine what you wanted on the receipt. So this is going to pop up that she has the reward, and it's going to ask me if she wants to email this receipt. So as you see, it's a very simple process. It took a little longer than 7 seconds, but you can see how simple the process is. We have a customer come in, we identify the customer, we scan her items, we take her payment, and we print her receipt, or we email her receipt. So very simple process. So going back to the home page, you can notice that we still have a purchase order open. So the system's indicating that we didn't receive all the items that we ordered in that particular item. Remember, we only received 8 of the 10 dresses. So this purchase order will stay open until we do receive those items, or until we cancel that purchase order. So I'd like to point out a couple of with the customer rewards. So this is your rewards manager here, and I have mine set up so that the purchase threshold is $200. The reward is a dollar amount, but you could also do a percentage off if you wanted to do that. The reward expiration, so we have it set so the rewards do not expire, but that they have to be redeemed after 30 days after the purchase. You can have a purchase tracking period on here. You can automatically enroll new customers in the rewards program. You can prompt to enroll non-members, and you can choose to inform the cashier whether the rewards are earned or not. So those are options that you can select for your rewards program. And of course, you can turn the rewards tracking on or off. I mentioned the scheduling of your sales. So you can see here, you can set up automatic discount. You can set it up for a percentage or a dollar off. You can set it for a buy one, get one, if you wanted to do that, or buy one and get, percentage off, depending on how you wanted to do that. You could schedule it, so this would be the day that you schedule it, the day it ends. Go ahead and move it to tomorrow. You could do it off the regular price, or if you already have a sale price on those items. You could do it on all items in your store. You could do it by department or by vendor, or you could just go in and select your certain items named, or go in and custom and select the items that you wanted to be on sale for that day. Very, very simple process, and takes a lot of the time and worry out of setting up your sales. But you can also, as I mentioned, you can set up a coupon, whether it's a discount, there would be a barcode, and your expiration. All right, going back to our home page. So I wanted to show you as well the security list. So this gives you an idea of the detail that you can set up in order giving permissions to your different categories. So you can have it by category, or you can actually set it up by individual. So you see I have owner, manager, assistant manager, associate, part-time purchasing. I also have Sherry here. And I also have my volunteers. So we can give them different levels of permission based on what information we want them to have available and what information that we want them to change. All right, so now that we've done we've done our building blocks, we've created our department, our vendors, our item list, we've made a sale. Let's go ahead and take a look at our reports. And one of my favorite aspects of the system is the dashboard. This is what you can set up to have all of your favorite reports, graphs, charts, basically at the tip of your fingers, so that you're not having to go into Report Center and pulling up all these individual reports. You can view them right from the dashboard, and you can modify them. You can change the dates on there, and then go back to one of your other reports. We'll go to our Report Center next, and if we go to all of our reports, the categories of all of our reports are listed here on the left-hand side in green. So we have our sales, our cash drawer, tracking our payments, tracking our customers, our items, our purchasing history, tracking our employees, and our memorized reports. So the memorized reports would be any report in these categories that we've made any modifications to that we'd like to save under a special name. Well, let's take a look at our sales reports here. So it shows you your best and worst sellers, our most common returns, to give a few. You can go into summaries. You can do date comparisons, so how one sales against the other. You can track your mobile sales. If I were connected, this is sold by channels, so you can go in and see what you've sold in your store, what you've sold with your mobile device, and what you've sold on your e-commerce site. To modify this, you can go in and add or remove columns. change the data, the filter data. And so now we have our description in this item. We can sort by any of the columns if we wanted to sort by name or item number or department. Our e-commerce sales, which we have none right now, mobile sales, are in our inserts. So you can sort, and if we want to save this one, we could go ahead, we'll memorize this report, and we'll call it, today is Wednesday, so let's call it Wednesday's report. And save that. So now if we go to our memorized report, look here, here's our Wednesday report. And now if we want to move this report over to our dashboard, we simply move it over. And you can see it populated here. If we wanted to move it to our front and center, we could do that. And we could save the dashboard. So it's a very simple process to add to your dashboard. And as you can see from the reports that there are many ways to track and pull up your business. You could track your total valuation, your inventory turn. All of these reports are going to help you as a merchant to determine how your business is doing, what your business is doing, and how to move forward with your business. So that is pretty much the system in a nutshell. We've covered the point of sale. We've covered our customer loyalty and tracking information. We've done our purchasing and tracking our purchases and our vendors with our customers, with our employees. Take a look at our employee list here and how we manage our employees. Take a look at our friend David here. So this is our tracking basic information. We have him set up as a part-time employee. And again, these categories are something that you would set up with your trainer. If we wanted all of the contact information here on our custom fields over here, we can have our emergency contacts, we can have their birthdays, their start dates, and up to 7 customizable fields in our employees as well. Again, you have your note area, or if you wanted to make special notes, then you could stamp those notes too. Late today. And date stamp that. And of course, you could print that as well if you needed to pull it out. Okay, we'll go ahead and save this. All right. So that covers all of the sections with the point of sale. One of the things I'd like to also mention is that the QuickBooks point of sale does integrate with all of the financial packages for QuickBooks financial packages. It integrates directly with all of the desktop applications. There's no additional fee. There's no additional charge for the integration to the desktop applications, and that would include QuickBooks Pro and QuickBooks all the way up to QuickBooks Enterprise and Enterprise Diamond, all of the desktop applications. It does also integrate with the online applications. However, it's a little different relationship between the point of sale and the accounting packages than it is with the desktop application, where the online version takes over a few more of the functions that the point of sale would normally handle. And there is a fee that's connected to the integration with the online, in addition to the monthly fees that's associated with the online packages as well. So it's one of the reasons that we support and recommend the desktop applications, because once you purchase the software, then you own the software. You're not required to do upgrades. With the accounting packages, I think most of my customers will upgrade every other year just to keep up with the current tax laws and requirements for financials. But it's a very simple integration, and then once we have it set up and integrated, then literally you just click a button and you see this gray information here down here on my action buttons. You just click that and it would send your sales data, your customer data, your employee data over to your QuickBooks Financial, so you can do, if you're doing invoices, if you're doing payroll, if you're preparing your taxes, then all of that information is going to go over to your financial package as well. So that is pretty much it in a nutshell. I would love to answer any questions that any of you might have. Like I say, you can send me a chat or unmute and just jump right in and ask. But definitely would love to hear from you. If not, if you don't have any questions, then I would going to wrap this up and thank you all for joining me. We will get in touch with you and just follow up and find out a little bit more about what you're looking for and how we might be able to assist you with your point of sale search. So with that, I will wrap up and I thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to speaking with you again.